Hey everybody, welcome. Today I'm going to break down 3 simple and incredibly effective breathwork techniques: Chandra Bhedana, lengthened exhalations, and lengthened exhalations with brief pauses or cessations that can help you and your students rest, relax, and get a much better night of sleep. We all know that sleep is foundational to everything, but for so many of us and so many of our students, we struggle with it. Sometimes it's just really hard to turn off, and we're wired. We get stuck in an overactivated and overstimulated phase. And pranayama techniques, especially these that I'm going to break down for you, are a simple, soothing, gentle way to help downregulate the nervous system and let ourselves sleep much more efficiently. Each of the techniques I'm going to break down for you today is backed by research that shows their ability to facilitate relaxation, to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, to calm the mind, and to improve sleeping quality and duration. Now, of course, I don't want to be overly simplistic and reductionist. The ability to sleep is complex, and pranayama is not everything, but it is a very powerful tool in our ability to unwind and be well. Before we dive in, I also really quickly want to let you know I have just released my online pranayama teacher training course. So if you're a yoga teacher and you want to feel more comfortable, knowledgeable, and confident incorporating breathwork into your existing classes, or even creating your own 8-part pranayama series, this training is built for you. Also, if you're not a yoga teacher, but you're a student and you want to learn more about pranayama and incorporate it into your lives, this program is exceptional. I'll leave information at the link below. I'll also break it down a little bit more at the end of this video. Our first technique is called Chandra Bhedana pranayama. And many of you might be familiar with alternate nostril breathing. Chandra Bhedana pranayama is actually a precursor that is slightly more targeted towards relaxation and destimulation than alternate nostril breathing is. The left nostril is considered in traditional hatha yoga practices to be the calming or the cooling channel. The right side, the Surya side, is considered to be the more stimulating or activating side. So what we do in Chandra Bhedana breathing is we inhale and we exhale only through the left nostril. Let me quickly break down this technique for you, then we'll do a couple cycles together. And then of course you can, with this knowledge, you can work more consistently and build this out on your own. To initiate our first Chandra Bhedana breath, and I'll just break this one down for you first, then we'll do it. We will block our right nostril. So we're just gonna exhale through our left nostril. Now, when we do that, we can use just our thumb, right? Sometimes I'll do that, it's just nice and simple. We can use our right thumb to block our right nostril, or a little bit more conventionally, you can put together the tips of the right thumb, index finger, and middle finger and use that to block. Regardless, we block the right nostril, we exhale through the left nostril, right? That's the beginning of the breath. Then we inhale through the left nostril. Once we're done with that inhalation, we're gonna close the left nostril. And typically we can do that just with the index finger. There's slightly more complicated ways to do this, but I just use my index finger. So we block our left nostril and we exhale through our right. Once that exhalation is finished, we go back to the beginning. We block our right nostril, inhale left, block left, exhale right, and so on. So let's do just a couple of rounds of this together. Again, this is just gonna give you a brief tutorial so you can do more work and exploration on your own. To begin, we're gonna close our right nostril and we're gonna exhale through our left. That will be the initiation. And we'll just do 3 brief cycles together. So as you're ready, just take an inhalation through both nostrils. Then you're gonna close your right nostril and exhale through left. Inhale through left nostril. Close left nostril, exhale through right. Close right nostril, inhale through left. Close left, exhale through right. One more time, close right, inhale left. Close left, exhale through right. Good. Let that go and just pause for a moment. A controlled study in 2008 found that left nostril breathing decreases blood pressure, decreases heart rate, and decreases the sympathetic activation of the nervous system, or the fight and flight function of the nervous system. So it shifts it from a more sympathetic state to a parasympathetic dominant state. In shorthand, it means this stuff works by facilitating the rest and digest function of the nervous system. Now, this is entirely corroborated by the yoga tradition, which has been incorporating Chandra Bhedana along with these other techniques as tools to facilitate a quiet mind for centuries. In your personal practice, honestly, you can use this anytime you need to relax and unwind. So if you're wound up, if you're stressed, if you need a few minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes of grounding technique, this is perfect. But if you're doing it in the context of needing a more quiet evening and facilitating rest, you can do this seated or reclined for 3 to 5 minutes. I do it reclined in bed all of the time. And if you're a yoga teacher, you can incorporate this work towards the end of class. So if you want to incorporate this work in your sequence, I would put it right before Shavasana, just to help students unwind, let go, and ease into relaxation. Our next technique, lengthened exhalations, can be done many different ways. Now, obviously, all of those ways, the exhalation is going to be longer than the inhalation. But when we're in the context of promoting sleep, recovery, and relaxation, we want to make sure that we're not lengthening the exhalation or the inhalation so much that there's a lot of demand. So the first thing to keep in mind before I talk to you about duration of in-breath and out-breath options, the first thing to keep in mind is keep it easy. This is not a situation where the longer you lengthen the exhalation, the better. If you get more into a stress state, if you're really challenging yourself with how long you can possibly breathe, you're probably going to create enough demand and enough stress that even though your exhalations are longer, you're probably subverting the whole process. So your exhalation is always going to be longer than the inhalation in this technique, but everybody keep it easy. So with that in mind, a starting place is a 4-second inhalation and a 6 or an 8-second exhalation. For many students, especially relatively new breathers, if we inhale at a 4-second count, that's longer than our everyday breathing. It's probably longer than an inhalation that you're taking in a flow class, but it's also not epically demanding or epically long for most, so it's a good place to start. Similarly, when you're exhaling for 6 seconds, that exhalation is 2 beats longer. So you're facilitating that greater recovery and that greater stimulation of our parasympathetic response. It's going to work. We can also push that exhalation to an 8 count. So in one situation, it's 1 to 1.5 ratio, or it's 1 to 2 ratio. And both of those are gonna be really effective mechanisms. So I've brought out a timer, and we're gonna do 2 cycles together of 4-second inhalation, 6-second exhalation, and then we'll pause. And then we'll do 2 more cycles of 4-second inhalation, 8-second exhalation, okay? Just to give you, again, a quick feel for this work. So what I would love for you to do is bring your awareness to your breath, and wherever you are in your breathing right now, let's exhale. And then together, we'll inhale. Exhale. Exhale's a little bit slower than the inhalation here. Inhale, imagine you're filling a balloon in your trunk. Exhale, slowly empty it. Good. And then pause. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna adjust my timer. We're gonna do 4-second inhalation, 8-second exhalation. Again, It shouldn't be particularly challenging. This is to help calm and quiet the nervous system. So we're not looking for any real stress here, okay? So wherever you are in your breathing, let's exhale. Now, inhale. Nice slow exhalation. We're breathing through our nose. Inhale through your nose. Imagine inflating a balloon. And then nice and slowly exhale. Good. Then just recover and come to everyday breathing and allow the eyes to open if they were closed. So multiple studies over the years have shown that lengthened exhalations increases heart rate variability, increases parasympathetic nervous system dominance, meaning the dominant state of the nervous system is that of rest and digest or comfort. And both of these are related to improved relaxation and improved sleep quality and duration. As a practitioner, again, like Chandra Bhedana, I use this technique all the time. I do it for anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. What I have found is that for me personally, 5 minutes is really the sweet spot. Like at about 5 minutes, I can feel the stress drop. And then at 10 minutes, I feel like I'm good. So I don't want to push it too much, but 5 to 10 minutes is incredibly effective. Now, one of the great things about this as a teacher is this is even more beginner friendly in my experience than Chandra Bhedana. I love Chandra Bhedana and I incorporate it, but fussing around with the positioning and the articulation of the hands can sometimes be a little challenging for a newer student. So this is incredibly beginner friendly, especially if you're doing 4-second in-breath, 6-second out-breath. You could do that for 3 minutes right before Shavasana, and your students are really gonna start to feel the impact of focused breath work. Our third and final technique is our lengthened exhalation plus a brief pause, or a breathe in yoga language, kumbhaka, at the end of the exhalation. So really quick note, it's the in-breath, the out-breath, then a pause. There's no pause at the top of the inhalation, so it's unlike box breathing. It's a little bit more like triangular breathing, okay? It's a really effective technique. It builds on what we've just done, but by adding that brief pause at the end of the exhalation, studies have been shown that it increases our CO2 tolerance. And by increasing our CO2 tolerance, we improve the efficiency of our breathing. And by improving the efficiency of our breathing, we reduce stress and increase that relaxation response within. We can take the exact same ratios and the exact same logic of the lengthened exhalations and apply it to lengthened exhalations with the pause. So what we can do is, as a baseline, 4-second in-breath, 6-second out-breath, and then a 2 or 3-second pause, okay? Now again, that can scale up a little bit. So we can do 4-second in-breath, 8-second out breath, 2 to 3 to 4-second pause. We don't want to challenge ourselves much. This is slow, this is quiet, this should not be stressful for the nervous system, so keep that in mind. So I have my timer here, and we're gonna do 2 rounds of 4-second inhalation, 6-second exhalation, and 3-second pause. So wherever you are in your breathing cycle, go ahead and exhale. Then together, inhale. Exhale nice and slow. You're inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Pause. Inhale, imagine you're inflating a balloon in all directions evenly. Exhale. Pause. Return to everyday breathing. So once again, just a very brief little feel for this work. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna change my timer. We're gonna do 4-second inhalation, 8-second exhalation, and a 4-second pause. So wherever you are in your breathing cycle, together, let's exhale. Now, inhale. Exhale, nice and slow. Long, slow deflation of that imaginary balloon. Come to empty and pause. Inhale, expand the rib cage gently and completely. Exhale. Pause without tension. Return to everyday breathing. For those of you that want to learn more about some of the science that I've talked about, whether it's the CO2 tolerance I've mentioned, whether it's the heart rate variability that I've mentioned, whether it's parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system activation, I have an episode that Andrea and I did that is a conversation that goes through all of the science and breaks it down really clearly. So I'll make sure to link that below, or you can also just look at the playlist and go to the Yogaland podcast where we talk about the science of pranayama. In order to integrate this information into your daily life and into your sequences, I have just a couple of simple suggestions for your daily life. Start small and keep it easy. Pick one of these techniques. Whichever one is just intuitively more interesting to you, choose it. Do it for 3 to 6 minutes consistently before bedtime or in the evening and see how it feels. Then for those of you that want to incorporate this into your classes, same. Keep it simple. Keep it brief. Pick one of these techniques, incorporate it before Shavasana, and you can incorporate it for anywhere from 2 to 4 minutes. I know when we're putting it in a class, it can be tricky, especially if we have a shorter class. If it's a 30 or 60-minute class, it can feel a little scary to take time to do breath work. But this is really impactful, so just one technique in each sequence for 2 to 4 minutes, and it's going to be really helpful for you and your students. Those of you that want to take a deeper dive, either for yourself or because you want to incorporate this and teach this work comprehensively to your students, my online pranayama teacher training is perfect. It's comprised of 5 modules. The first module is going to break down all of the science, all of the technique, and all the background to feel like a knowledgeable, competent, proficient, comfortable pranayama teacher. The second and the third module of the course break down all the techniques so that you know how to incorporate these techniques into standalone classes. Similarly, the third module is a complete series. So I walk you through and teach you how to both practice, but also how to create and teach your own 8-week pranayama series. The final 2 modules are really much more about your own personal practice and developing it, and also effective ways to cue pranayama and how to start to integrate this both into your classes and into your life. So if you want to learn more, go ahead and click the information below. And if that doesn't work out for you, I hope that everything we did today is interesting and then you can incorporate it into your lives. And if it feels appropriate, start to share it with your students.